My name is Theresa Roden. I live in Springs and I've lived there for the past 25 years. I am the founder and chief visionary officer of iTry. iTry is an empowerment program for middle school girls where we train them mind, body, and spirit to complete a youth distance triathlon.
My name is Priscilla Ortega. I live in Amagansett and I'm also an alumni from iTry and I work for iTry part-time.
My name is Sophia Rodriguez. I live in Springs and I used to be an iTry girl.
This year was our 13th season of iTry. We have had, in those 13 years, more than 1,000 girls go through the program. In iTry, we use this metaphor of light, and we teach our girls that every one of us is this beautiful ball of light, and we come into this world to be light in the world, and the better you feel, the brighter your light is. And your job is to feel good as you can so that your light shines bright, and anyone who comes in contact with you benefits from that. And so even during those darkest days, we would talk about that in our sessions. And I remember one of the kids coming to me and saying, in one of our sessions, "It works." And I go, "What works?" "That light thing, it works." And I go, "Really? Why?" She goes, "Well, I was doing that and I felt really good. And I went into the kitchen and my dad, he was upset." And I said, "Why was he upset?" "Well, he was scared. He was in there and he was wiping off the groceries because there might be COVID on the groceries." Remember how we did that? And everybody was just scared and upset. And I told them about the light. And the next thing you know, we were all thinking about that and everybody started feeling better. It works. February 28th, 2020, we had our biggest, what we call the iTry kickoff that we've ever had. We had just enrolled close to 200 girls in the program. The following week was when the rumbling started that schools might be closing. So I turned to my program team and I said, we're going to have to get really creative because this is going to happen and it's going to happen fast and we can't lose these kids.
We had a smooth transition. I think we just figured it out really quickly. We had meetings. My training basically was all virtual at that point.
So by the next week, every single group at every single school was scheduled with us and their program leader for special Zoom sessions, which took place after the school day in the same time period it would have been if it had been in person. So they were still with that same cohort of kids from their school. We had to figure out something that any kid could do, any of our participants. So, sure, some of them had weight rooms, right? That was great. But most of them had a little teeny space in their bedroom. We enlisted the help of Olympic athletes because if you remember, the whole world was shut down and they were looking for ways to keep active and be involved as well. So we had Katie Zafaris, who's an Olympic triathlete, and Dara Torres, who's an Olympic swimmer. And they did sessions with the kids.
I was set to be a iTry girl for my 8th grade, so iTry usually runs for middle school girls and I was just about to graduate, so it would have been my last year doing the triathlon, but again, we had to switch over to do the Olympic challenge due to the COVID restrictions.
So the Olympic challenge was a 30-minute workout in Zoom where all of them would do a section of fitness activities, exercises. The first was upper body to mimic swimming. The second was lower body to mimic biking. And the third was all cardio. So 5 minutes straight of cardio to mimic the run that they do on race day. And each of those 5 minutes were hosted by a celebrity. So it was either an Olympian or a coach or one of our alumni who dressed in costumes and led them through things like jumping jacks and shuttle runs, and it was fantastic. The first couple weeks, every camera was on, every kid was engaged, and it was easy to interact, and it was fun and exciting. By the third week, what we noticed was they were turning their cameras off. And they were still showing up, though, and that was the important thing. But we knew that there was something going on. We also started hearing rumblings of food insecurity, housing insecurity. So we came up with a survey and we sent it to every single family that was involved in iTry, and we asked them just very point blank, do you need help with food? What kind of things are you struggling with and how can we help you?
The challenges that I saw was basically focusing on a screen because you're virtual, and mental health issues, and also food issues. There wasn't a lot of, and then housing. People were out of jobs.
Nick and Tony's, that group, they were giving meals. So at first I would go and pick up meals and drive them house to house, anybody who needed them. Our iTry board, donated money out of their own pockets to buy groceries for families. And then something wonderful happened, the 631 Fund. And we and the other organizations involved were able to actually really make a difference. There were food pantries going on, and we were able to provide Stop and Shop gift cards for our families so that they could go and buy whatever they needed to. Priscilla, who was our Spanish-speaking translator, every single week she would be in touch with these families. She would send out the gift cards. She would get notice if, we had families who were being kicked out of their homes and needed help transporting their things, and it was just a lot going on, and we helped in ways we never were prepared to help before, and it was gratifying and heartbreaking and just beautiful and wonderful and tragic, all of those things at the same time.
Well, I was about 13, so it was really the only, chance I had to talk to someone who wasn't my mom or my dad, let's say. I don't really have siblings my age, so I was alone, and I didn't have any way to really get in touch with other people who were experiencing the same way and were thinking, and had the same thought process as me, being 13 and in a pandemic.
So as the weeks progressed, if you remember, the governor would say that schools would be open in 2 weeks. There were 2-week increments. So, they would close school and they would say, okay, in 2 weeks we'll let you know. And the first time that 2 weeks came, the governor said, no, we're not opening the schools again. But we'll let you know in 2 more weeks. So right before that second 2-week window, we noticed that one of our girls, in her background, in her room in Zoom, there was something hanging behind her. And I just innocently asked, what is that? What's behind you? And she said, oh, it's my back to school outfit. We're gonna go back to school Monday, I know it. And so that's my outfit that I'm gonna wear when I go back to school. And all the adults who were on, all the program leaders on that call, our heart just dropped because we knew the chances of schools opening again was very slim. And don't you know, that was probably on Thursday. On Friday, the governor made the announcement that schools would remain closed for the remainder of the school year. That afternoon, Friday afternoon, I received 4 phone calls from moms who were sure that their daughters were going to take their lives. That's how fast and how deeply drastic this mental health crisis was, even in those first few weeks. And so we went right into action. We have amazing contacts in this community. We reached right out to Family Service League, and they were on it, and they got in touch with the families, and we got crisis counseling for those kids, and they are doing okay. But we just knew that that's where our energy had to go, and so we needed to up our game when it came to mental health.
I guess we were all struggling, so we all just came to this understanding that we were going to be here and be there for each other, and it was just a little support. We could tell each other what we were going through, and it was just having someone there. That was our connection.
So for 2022, knowing that we were finally, thank goodness, being able to go back in person, we knew that we were going to be facing a whole different group of kids this year, kids that had just gone through a trauma. Collectively, I believe we've all just gone through quite a trauma. We trained our entire staff, coaches, administration, board in something called trauma-informed care and coaching. The most exciting thing that we learned is that many of the practices that we've always instinctively used in iTry are things that are encouraged, right? The best thing you can do for someone who's gone through trauma is encourage them to do repetitive movement, right? And what's better than walking or running or dancing or swimming? And these are all the things that we do in iTry. Something as simple as being in a circle. The reason why you do a circle goes back to caveman times. Everyone is on equal ground. And in a circle, if a lion's coming up behind you, I'm going to let you know. I got your back. You got my back. And so just something as simple as starting and ending in a circle is something we always did in iTry to begin with. And now we know it's so healing and so creates this safe bond with our participants.
Most of the time you don't want to call your job a family, because why would you want to call your job a family? But this is a family. Because not only does Theresa make sure that you know that she appreciates you, she loves you, she genuinely feels it that way. I know that these girls felt it, they felt the community, they felt the love, they felt seen. And even if it was virtual, at the end, all these goals were met for all these girls from all these different types of places. They come from different communities, different families, different cultures, and we were all able to unite.
I'm so proud of the work that we did during that time in iTry, and so proud of this community, because I've never seen anything like it. A community that rallies together. It didn't matter who needed help. And for me personally, I was always reminded that, it could easily be me. And the fact that the board of iTry kept our organization going, because if we had to shut down and I didn't get a paycheck, I would be in the food pantry line just like everybody else.
I would say persistence, because not just for the girls, but as a person, it was so hard to wake up in the morning and be like, okay, let's work by my bed. So persistence for everyone, just trying to keep your head up, trying to be positive, trying to work, trying to eat, trying to work out, trying to be healthy, trying to connect with your family even though you can't physically see them. So this pandemic has been about persistence.
Understanding. We were all finally on sort of an equal playing field. Everyone was going through the same thing, different situations, but it was all under the same umbrella. It was a chance for people to empathize with others and really just allow themselves to be more flexible with how they interact with other people.
The one word that comes to mind for me when I think of the pandemic is love. I think we saw love in action in ways we had never seen before. We were forced to love our neighbor and love ourselves and comfort ourselves and our neighbors through something terrifying and scary, and without love, it would have been impossible.